Down on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders. That's what the big voice guy just said just a minute ago. Yeah. Glad to be with you today here as we are day one of the Masters. It's like, you got to appreciate the Masters if you can't play golf. These guys go out there and they hit the ball and do the things that I can't do. It's literally watching something you just can't even remotely do on the golf course. These guys are great. So we will give you updates throughout the day here as we roll along. The big story, of course, because ESPN and everybody else just will not let you get away from it, is the fact that Tiger Woods is playing. And, you know, it's interesting. It is a good story because, you know, there was talk that he may never play again, especially after the accident that he had. You never know. And he's out there right now. He's one under par, 3 shots off the lead, and playing. I mean, he's through. I don't know. We're gonna have a full update from Augusta with Christopher Thompson. I'm sure he'll be on the letting us know what Tiger Woods is doing. All right. So following along with that, we'll give you updates as we go. But Christopher Thompson is live in Augusta, and he will be calling us at about 3:30 today to give us a rundown on what's going on down there with the Masters. Also got a report from South Carolina's practice this morning. What went right, what went wrong with the Gamecocks. And, oh, by the way, your world champion Atlanta Braves, they are opening up their season tonight. Bow down to the true champs. Yes, the Atlanta Braves open up their season tonight with the Reds. We will give you the rundown on that game, who's starting, who's not. And, we may talk about what Ronald Acuna Jr. said today about Freddie Freeman. Maybe Freddie Freeman wasn't the nicest guy ever, according to Ronald Acuna Jr. So that's a mess. We'll get to the Gamecock practice notes in just a moment. But first, my college football topic of the day is going to go in the bookcase of accountability. This is a report on the picking the biggest upsets of the 2022 college season. Shout out to the folks watching in the chat room. Big Barney Ross says, I've spent more time in Facebook jail than they gave Jesse Smollett. Okay. Elijah says hello. He's happy to see me. Alan says, I hate the beach. Alan is full of it. Brandon, how are you, sir? And Big Barney Ross says he has diamond seats at the Cincinnati Reds opener on the 12th, and he cannot wait. Well, tonight, your Reds are going to get beat like Tennessee with Purdue. That's just going to happen tonight. The Braves have, I'll get into it in a little bit, but in the past 3 seasons, 1 through 6 on the Braves lineup has had everyone that's on that lineup tonight has hit 30 home runs in the past 3 seasons. So a lot of power in that Braves lineup. All right, so here's some of the big potential upsets. Now, I want you to get involved with the program today, 803-978-1832. If you are excited about Tiger Woods playing, hey, call up, sound off. Yeah, we'll be happy to take on that. There are people that are like, man, Tiger Woods, great. It is a great story. But it's crazy too. So if you want to join us here on the rundown, feel free. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. As we roll along here this afternoon, let's give you these potential upset picks for the upcoming season. These are going to go in the bookcase of accountability. Some of these, I kind of was like, huh? All right. But we'll start with Purdue over Penn State in week 1. And the article says, calling the shot now, Penn State will be the first ranked team to go down into the 2022 season. And, you know, the first week is by far the hardest week to pick because there are teams that are ranked in the top 25 that pretty much have no business being there. there are teams that are group of 5 teams that are better than some of the power 5 teams that are in the top 25. But especially in the AP poll, you're going to have a lot of folks that put teams in there based solely on their name. So the first week of the season is the weirdest. You'll have teams with a, let's say a 10 next to their name. And then all of a sudden, they're going to lose to somebody they had no business losing to. It is a mess, to say the least. But they've got Purdue over Penn State in week 1. Look, I don't know how good Purdue's going to be. I just remember we were talking midseason last year about how Jeff Brom, their coach, was probably going to get fired. Remember that? It was like, hey, this guy, he's not worth a salt. Yeah, now they're talking about they're going to knock off Penn State. We shall see about that. I don't know how that's going to happen. But they have another matchup that they project will be a big matchup. In week 1, they've got Oregon winning over Georgia. I tell you what, Dan Lanning going out there, out to the West Coast, he could put his stamp on that program quickly. Now, remember, they had the week 2 upset over Ohio State last season, and nobody thought Oregon had a chance. But they caught Ohio State early before Ohio State could figure out what they were going to do at quarterback, etc. And maybe they're thinking the same thing here with the Bulldogs. I don't know if I'm buying that or not. Don't know. Bo Nix is probably going to be their quarterback. We'll see how that works out. He's not going to be intimidated by playing against the Georgia Bulldogs. He's already played against them before. But you lose your defensive coordinator, and then you got to face him in week 1. That there are so many juicy little story tidbits there. I mean, it's going to be an interesting matchup, in my opinion. In week 2, Arizona over Mississippi State. Arizona has been terrible, but they do have some folks coming in, including Washington State quarterback transfer Jaden DeLora and UTEP wide receiver transfer Jacob Cowing. They say the Wildcats will have an opportunity to get a real early statement win over a quality SEC foe. I don't think the Pirates going to allow that to happen. Really don't. Texas Tech over NC State, week 3, September the 17th. Now, I don't think a lot of people are going to look at this game and think, oh, wow, that's going to be a potential upset. We'll see. But NC State, I've said it before, they've got their quarterback coming back. They're starting to figure things out a little bit. Dave Doran is kind of a silly guy out there just taking trophies for not playing bowl games. But the Red Raiders, could they possibly pull the upset? We shall see. Kansas State over Oklahoma. When you look at Oklahoma, the transition that Oklahoma has had to make is going to be huge. They're going from being a team that lived on offense to a team with Brent Venables, who his trademark is, of course, being a defensive coordinator. And if they lose this game to Kansas State, the Oklahoma fans, they're going to be like, wait a minute, how did this happen? I think this year's a transition year for Oklahoma, and they may only win 8 games. Yeah. I mean, you're completely changing everything about what you had. So many folks left the program. How they're going to deal with the quarterback situation. They do have some transfers that have joined the program, but meshing all of that together. And let's be honest, Oklahoma's been really dominant in the Big 12. The idea of winning 10 games in the first season may be just a little bit too much. The next potential matchup has Arkansas over Alabama in week 5. The thing with Alabama is they are so good with so many guys that are just talented across the board. And Nick Saban runs such a tight ship. it's hard to think that Alabama is going to get upset ever. No one really sees it coming. I mean, you had the matchup with Ole Miss, where Chad Kelly threw a ball, bounced it off a guy, and then ran into the end zone with it. Things like that have to happen. The injury bug has to happen for Alabama, in my opinion, to be quote unquote upset. So I think Saban's just so good that, I mean, he wants his guys jacked up when they play Charleston Southern. And he'll tell you that Charleston Southern's offense will run through them. I mean, you listen to his press conference, you think they are, he pays a great amount of respect to everybody that he plays. So it's hard for me to think Nick Saban's going to be there to get upset at some point. Some notes. Dakota US says, I love Tiger, my favorite golfer. Big Barney Ross says, I have Roy Tin Cup McAvoy to win the Masters. Why not? It's a solid bet. My DraftKings is looking decent, but not great. I'll give you my DraftKings lineup later. Elijah says, if Tennessee is 5-0 and Alabama comes to Knoxville next year, Neyland's going to be electric. Well, it should be. Don't they have that tradition where the winning team smokes the cigars or whatever? I wonder how that's going to go in the society we have now where, nobody smokes, etc. You might get away with that at Alabama. I wonder how that'll work at Tennessee. There's going to be if I were a Tennessee fan and I haven't, they've lost 19 straight or something like that to Alabama. If I had the opportunity to have that tradition where I could smoke the cigar that signifies the beating of the Crimson Tide, I'd take the ticket or whatever it is they give them. So, yeah. Big Barney Ross says Kentucky will struggle with Northern Illinois like they did with the Snake last year. Of course, he's talking about UT Chattanooga. We'll see how that works out for them. Alan says UGA beats Oregon by 30. Oof. Man. Now, Tennessee fans are thinking I'm mocking him. I'm not mocking him. I mean, I think that's one of the coolest traditions in college football. Yeah, we win. We're going to smoke cigars. I kind of like it. We have such a wussification of society now. Oh, you smoke a cigar? Really? Elijah says it's been a long time since we smoked them cigars. Yeah, that's a great tradition, by the way. I don't have a problem with that at all. So, yeah. Anyway, I find it hard to think that Arkansas is going to win over Alabama. There's a huge love with Arkansas, though. Everybody's buying into Sam Pittman. So, I don't know. We shall see. Another matchup that has potential to be an upset is Tennessee over LSU. Now, by the way, I didn't write these upsets. These are not my picks. My picks for upsets will come as we get closer to the season. These are from 247 Sports. And Tennessee over LSU, they think that Tennessee has the opportunity to beat LSU this season. I can almost buy that, and I'll tell you why. People are thinking, you're going to think that I'm on the Josh Heupel train, but I'm not. I think that at that point of the season, with the offense that Tennessee runs, they may give LSU some problems. And if LSU has to get into a shootout with them, that might not work out too well. Aaron says, would that really be an upset? LSU is going to be ranked in the top 15, I think, in the first AP poll. So as far as rankings go, Aaron, that will be an upset. I just think that Tennessee has a good chance to win that game. I felt like last season, I felt really good about Pitt winning over them because of all the folks that Pitt had coming back. And I think there was a section of people that were they thought Tennessee might do something, but the Tennessee defense was in shambles last year, and I knew that Kenny Pickett was going to throw the ball around a little bit. I don't feel that confident about this game, but I do think that it's not like one of those etched in stone, okay, this is not going to happen. I think Tennessee can beat LSU. I think LSU's got questions, and they need to get the guy with the fake accent to figure those out, and it may take him a year. If it does, Tennessee might get them October the 8th. All right, Virginia over Miami, week 9, October the 29th. Mario Cristobal down there at Miami trying to fix the, I guess, debacle that has been Miami football for a while. Will he be able to take care of this team with Virginia? And, you got Tony Elliott, former Clemson offensive coordinator, running the show at Virginia now. We will see how that works out. I don't know how good Miami's going to be. Really don't. Look, Allen says Miami losing, is that an upset? I don't think you understand how bad Virginia is. I think what was the over and under projection on them the other day was 4 or 5 games. So, yeah, if they win that game, yeah, it's a big deal. Big Barney Ross he's jumped. I mean, you guys remember when the Macho Man Randy Savage used to do the bionic elbow off the top of the off the top rope? Big Barney Ross coming off the top rope here as he got his Brillo pad hair like the Macho Man Randy Savage. He says if Hendon Hooker goes down with an injury, Tennessee won't beat Vanderbilt. Man, you be careful saying those words around Knoxville. I mean, oof. No one wants to see that. They have lost, 5 out of the last 10 to them? Tennessee fans don't like to think about that, but yeah. All right, and the final one, according to 247 Sports, has South Carolina beating Clemson on rivalry weekend. And I'll read you what they wrote. South Carolina has loads of momentum entering its second year under head coach Shane Beamer. The Gamecocks should take a huge step offensively after upgrading in almost every position by the transfer portal. It starts with Spencer Rattler. Beamer was able to nab him from the Sooners thanks to prior connections. They also got former Sooners tight end Austin Stogner, and they've dipped down a level to nab a pair of impact receivers in James Madison's Antoine Wells and Arkansas State's Corey Rucker, in addition to Wake Forest running back transfer Christian Beal-Smith. Here's the reason that I don't think this one's going to happen. As of right now, we don't know how good the South Carolina offensive line is going to be. We don't know. We know Spencer Rattler has the capability of throwing for 3,000 yards in a season. We know that. We know that Austin Stogner is a man-child out there at the tight end spot. We know that. We also know that Christian Beal-Smith is special. What he did at Wake Forest, good. And the fact that they have Marshawn Lloyd, who wasn't quite what they thought he was going to be last season, but that's a good platoon of running backs there with Beal-Smith and Marshawn Lloyd. That's great. But it all comes back down to this. We don't know how great the offensive line is going to be. We do know that Clemson's defensive line, according to metrics, is supposed to be one of the top 3 in the country. So, yeah, I think that one's going to be tough. And it's at Death Valley, where Clemson hasn't lost a game since Deshaun Watson was there. Elijah says he throws those stuff against the Big 12 defenses. Yeah, you're right about that. More of the rundown in just a moment here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. That's a very good point, Elijah. So I have to share something with you guys. You'll appreciate this. I do sportscasts that air all over the state. It's in like 26 different stations across our state, okay? I have a hard time pronouncing Japanese names. So much so that when I write my sportscast, I will try to leave those names out. Or I will find someone who I think is saying the name correctly, and I will try to sit and listen to that pronunciation over and over and over again, because I just think it's like the most disrespectful thing ever if you mispronounce someone's name. That is like one of those things that just bothers me. Also, I'll write when I'm writing stuff for the blog page. I'll write, and if it's a word that I'm not quite sure works, I'll think of another word. I'll go to the source and find another word. I am so challenged. I really am. What up, Slim Shady? If you're just checking in, Slim Shady, according to 247 Sports, they think that Virginia is going to beat Miami as a potential upset in Week 9. Look, I'll tell you what, Aaron's got a good point there. No team is ever going to just completely dominate a team for X amount of years. Virginia Tech had like a 19-game winning streak over Virginia, and Virginia won it. I think it was, 2 seasons ago? I can't remember. But to see those young men on the field and how they just took it, and it was the best thing ever. Yeah, I mean, that, and Jackpot does deserve it. You're right about that. He's one of the biggest fans I know, man. All right, here we go. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeart Radio app. My name is Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining us. Alan says Clemson defense is for real. The offense, not so much. He's right. He's right. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. If you want to talk about the potential upsets that we talked about earlier, Christopher Thompson joins us at 3:30 today to chat with us about the Masters. And he is on site doing his thing down there. He got the tough job today. He had to go to Augusta and cover the Masters. So, yeah, Christopher Thompson doing his thing today. As I shuffle through my notes here, I do have some practice notes from South Carolina I want to share with you. These are things that happened with the Gamecocks practice. Here it is. Some notes from the practice field here. Running back Juju McDowell and defensive back Tyrese Ross were both participating in practice. McDowell worked with the running backs and the special teams and returned some kicks. That's another running back too. He's like a, I don't want to use the term tiny little fella, but he's a tiny little fella. But you know what? When he hits that hole, he hits it hard. He hits it like he's 6'5", 200 pounds, and he's just going to blow through it. Really like that, like McDowell. Other guys returning kicks, Lavassier Carroll, Marshawn Lloyd, and apparently Lloyd did a standing backflip during warmups. Yeah, okay. That's some athletic stuff there. I would tell my guys, hey, cut that out. Don't be doing anything where you could possibly get hurt. We don't want to hear that. Several Gamecocks did miss practice because of injuries. Jaheim Bell, E.J. Jenkins. Beamer said Tuesday that they could possibly get back into the mix next week. DeCarrion Joyner also didn't practice today. No word yet on that. They will scrimmage again on Saturday, but then the spring game is the following Saturday. Let's see here. One other note. Not very many bodies at tight ends. The Gamecock have been using a variety of players at the position. Thursday, receiver Chad Terrell continued to work with the tight ends. So, yeah, injury bug kind of bites everybody. So, there you go. All right, 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 as we roll along here this afternoon on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Around the world on the iHeart Radio app. Tiger Woods coming up here. We'll give you an update on the scores in just a second. Let's go out to the phones. 803-978-1832. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, it's Big Barney Ross. I was calling in to let you know that the biggest upset that you're going to see all year will be probably Cincinnati winning 7-2 tonight. And I've got $100 on the Acuna Jr. getting hit by one of our pitchers. So
I will take. I'll take that bet. You want to bet with me right now?
What Cincinnati wins?
No. That Acuna Jr. gets hit.
No, I don't want to take that bet because I don't want to see nobody get hit,
Well, I guarantee you that's not going to happen because Acuna Jr. is on the injured list and will not play tonight. So I was about to cash in. By God, that was going to happen.
Well, I'm definitely going to take the Reds to win. All right, man. Big Barney Ross, I'm out.
All right, good for you, sir. Hey, it'll be the biggest matchup of the season for the Reds because they're playing the defending World Series champions. So there you go with that. Dakota with a good comment. Do a backflip and mess up your ankle, you're done. Yeah, don't be doing anything. I mean, I know that they're kids, and I say kids, they're grown men, but in reality, they're kids, and they're going to go and cut backflips and jump off trucks and I don't know, whatever it is that kids do. Like I sound like I'm the old man yelling at the sky, but the reality is that, stop doing all that. Wrap yourself in bubble wrap when you leave the field. It's kind of the way that goes. All right, 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Big Barney Ross says he thinks that the Atlanta Braves are going to fall tonight. Normally, Big Barney Ross is a pretty smart individual, but I think he's hitting that Kentucky bourbon just a little bit too early today because that ain't happening tonight. I'll come back and eat my crow tomorrow if that does happen. Let's go back out to the phones. Welcome into the Rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, Rob. Wondering if you have any insight about what the Panthers are going to do this year at quarterback.
Well, they're going to start with Matt Darnold, and I think that, or it's Sam Darnold. Why am I thinking Matt Darnold? Sam Darnold is going to be the starting quarterback unless they draft Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis, who is the guy that they think some folks are projected them to pick. At this point, that is a lot of money to be spending on quarterbacks. But, I mean, in the NFL, if you don't really have a quarterback, you can't really win. It's not like you can
They still have Cam, too, right?
I don't know if Cam's there or not. I think Cam's a free agent. But it's not like you can do what Georgia did and have just someone stand in there and then live on a world-class defense. You can't do that in the NFL. I mean, one year that happened with the Ravens, but other than that, I mean, you got to have at least a functional quarterback, and right now they do not have one.
Would you see the Panthers tanking this season because they wanted to fire the coach this year? The only reason they didn't was because of money, I think.
I mean, I don't know at this juncture.
Not take a quarterback and go with Sam Darnold and lose a lot of games and maybe wind up with the Ohio State quarterback next year.
Who do you draft then? Do you give away your draft picks? I mean, what do you do? I mean, if I have an opportunity and my scouts really like someone like a Malik Willis or like a Kenny Pickett, and I think that this guy could be a franchise quarterback, I'm going to take him. I don't really care who the quarterback is. I mean, who the coach is. I'm going to take that guy and then go from there if I'm the GM.
Yeah, I would hope that they do something to like move back, get another pick somewhere, maybe a third-round pick and move back.
Yeah, but then what do you get from there? Because you've got what I think they should do, especially for this season, is I would trade on draft day Christian McCaffrey. It's the highest that you'll get for him, and I know that everyone's like, man, he's the greatest thing ever. He is injured. He's been injured more games than he's actually played when he's been with the Panthers, I think is the stat that I read the other day. I would trade him now for whatever I could get for him, and then I would go with a youth movement this season and then go from there.
I mean, you don't think the Panthers could make a move and maybe bring in the kid from Cleveland? Baker Mayfield would be a definite upgrade.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield can't see over the offensive line. Hey, man, I've got to go out to Augusta, man. I appreciate you calling. All right, let's head out to Augusta, and we will welcome in our sports director, Christopher Thompson. Christopher, how are you, man?
Rob, well, good. It was certainly better than yesterday or even this morning as far as weather goes because it was looking iffy at times. The nice thing about today is the rain has stopped and moved out. Sun came out. It's not extremely warm. It is breezy, which has caused some tricky winds here at Augusta, depending on where you are on the golf course. Cameron Smith right now is having quite the day. He started his round with a double bogey at 1. Now, 1 normally plays as one of the toughest holes on the course, and it would be a sign that your day is just not going to go well anyway. but he rounded out into form, back-to-back birdies at 8 and 9, got him to 2 under par. He followed that up with a birdie at 12, another birdie at 14, a birdie at 15, and now a birdie at 16. He is 6 under par for the day. Currently, Cameron Smith with a 2-shot lead on Sung J M. Interesting to note, these two, Smith and M, finished in a tie for second to Dustin Johnson here back in 2020. Danny Willits, the Masters champion from 2016, has the clubhouse lead. He shoots around of 3 under par 69 today. And everybody's been watching Tiger Woods, who has been certainly flirting with intensity, although it hasn't had the scores to show for it. He did get to 1 under briefly with a birdie at the par 3 sixth, but then he's had a string of par-saving putts since then, has found a lot of pine straw, not very many greens in regulation, but he is grinding. Also had a birdie at 13, but gave it right back with a bogey at 14. He's putting on 15 right now. So Tiger Woods at even par, currently 6 shots behind the leader, Cameron Smith, who is just unconscious right now the way he's playing on the second 9.
Christopher, one question before we get you out of here, because I know you're busy and I appreciate your time today. Has the course changed as far as being maybe wetter this morning, and we may see lower scores in the afternoon as it kind of dries out? Maybe some of the greens will hold up a little bit better. I mean, do you think it'll be a little bit harder in the afternoon, or do you think we might see some lower numbers with some guys that teed off there around 2 o'clock?
I think it's going to be tougher in the afternoon, Rob, just because the wind seems to be picking up as the afternoon moves along. And those greens, because of the wind, the greens are starting to dry out a bit. They were wet. They were soft. They were receptive earlier this morning, not so much this afternoon. You're having to hit those pinpoint or pin precise locations to have any shot at all at making the putts from the right read. So I think it'll play tougher as the afternoon goes along. Although, I mean, you see Cameron Smith at 6 under par. He's obviously shrugging off every bit of difficulty this course can throw at him.
All right, Christopher Thompson joining us from the Masters in Augusta. Hey, man, thanks for taking the bullet for all of us and covering the tournament today. We appreciate it.
Happy to do it. Hey, I'll check in with you this time tomorrow.
Thanks, man, so much. Appreciate it. All right, there you go. Christopher Thompson with an update there from the Masters. Tiger Woods just hit a par putt on 15. He is at even par on the day. And I tell you what, he is definitely, when you think of the comeback that he has had, and I know that people get tigered out, but there were talks that, he may lose his leg. It's some of the reports that we got. And he's out there doing his thing as he walks up on the 16th here. He's definitely, I thought if he made the cut, that would be the best thing ever. But I'm not saying he's going to win, but he's sitting at even par right now, where Smith is at 6 under par through 16. That's pretty good. He's in definite position to at least make the cut and be there for the weekend. And the folks down in Augusta, they sure do love that. All right, quick break. We come back. We'll have more for you. Thanks to Christopher for giving us a call from Augusta here on the Rundown. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. Holy crap, Jay. All right, I'll share my thoughts with you on Tiger Woods here really quick. Tiger Woods was the best golfer on the planet when he was in his prime. When he was in his prime, he was on, what's the term that I could use? He was on the women buffet, meaning that he could go to Perkins and get a woman. He could go here. He could go there. If Tiger Woods wants to fix himself, I think he needs to get back on the female buffet because he was dominating then. So there you go with that. Vodka Drinker says, I'm addicted to butterscotch haystacks. Okay. Big Barney Ross got food poison at the Masters. Which woman gave you that, or did she just cross her legs? Which one is that? I'm just being honest with the whole Tiger Woods thing. Everything went downhill after that. His wife wrapped a 9-iron around his shoulder because she found out, and then that kind of ruined everything. So I love his press conference too. He had with his mom there, and it's like everybody's like Team Tiger, all with Team Tiger. The guy was making millions and millions of dollars a year, and he was on the women buffet. What are you talking about? Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeart Radio app. My name is Rob Sanders. Thanks to Christopher Thompson joining us from Augusta, giving us an update there on the Masters. As we roll along, Smith is at 6 under par. Neiman's at 3 under par. Schwartzel is at 2 under par. And yeah, Tiger Woods is even through 15. Even through 15 for Tiger Woods. All right, 803-978-1832. If you want to talk about the Masters for a moment. You know, I think I was talking about this the other day with the Masters with a couple of my friends. You know, you go down there and you get the pimento cheese sandwiches and all that, and they're $2 or whatever the cost is. And a beer is $3. It's like the absolute best buy in sports, basically, for concessions and everything else that's down there. But the Masters is like, they talk about it a tradition like any other. Yeah. Here's the thing with that, though. The Masters doesn't care what you think. They really are at a point where they are the oldest of old school. You know, if you go down there and you run on the golf course, they kick you out. It's a private place. The only place you can buy official Masters gear is when the Masters is actually happening. So thinking you can run down there and, I can stop and get me a Masters hat in July. No, that's not happening. It's not happening at all. So the Masters is one of the last areas where they just don't care. Remember the situation they had with, what was it? Doris, I think it was Doris Burke, whatever her name was. And they were upset about the actual not having any women as members of the golf club there. The Masters didn't care. They said, hey, we don't need your TV. They only allow 4 minutes of spots anyway. So 4 minutes of spots an hour. They don't need your TV money. And especially with the way things are nowadays, if CBS flinched at the Masters and Augusta National just the least little bit, they would stream online. They wouldn't care. And you know what? They would still make all the money that they make and still be as prestigious as they are. There's something to that. So Augusta National, one of the more old school things that are out there. Dakota says the Masters don't care. You're right. They own Augusta, and that's facts. Yep. Papa B says the Masters is the lawnmower man's wet dream. Very good. Elijah says Happy Gilmore is the best golfer of all time. I can buy that. Big Barney Ross said he got sick down there, and he said an egg salad sandwich did him in. Be careful there, Big Barney Ross. If you insult one of their egg salad sandwiches, they're not going to have it. That's not going to work. All right, 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to dial if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. As we get you set up, today's Thursday, one more day closer to the weekend. And you guys know about the Masters nap, right? I think we've talked about that before. Sunday is the best day ever. You get all your housework done, whatever, and watch the final round of the Masters. Get you a little nap in. Nothing wrong with that. That Masters nap is top notch. Top notch. All right, 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to dial if you'd like to join us here on the rundown as we watch some of the Masters up there. I was going to give you, before we go to a break, I do my DraftKings with the Masters, and let's see how my DraftKings is doing right now. I am currently ranked in the contest that I'm in at 28,573rd. Imagine that. Here are my golfers. Now, a lot of my guys haven't taken the course yet, or they are only through like the first 5 holes. Here's my DraftKings picks for the weekend. John Rahm, Cantlay, Bryson DeChambeau, Billy Horschel, Lee Westwood, and Padraig Harrington. Harrington on the day is at 2 over par. He's through. Let's see here. Everybody else is still out on the course. DeChambeau is sitting at 3 over par. He may end up screwing up my whole entire thing there, as he's still got 2 holes left. Cantley is at tied for 21st at even par through 5 holes. Same thing goes with Rahm, who is one of the best golfers on the planet unless I pick him in DraftKings, and then he's not really worth anything. It's kind of the way it works. Defending champion Matsuyama just missed a par putt there. He will most likely move to 2 over par, as he does not quite have it yet. Elijah says, if I ever find myself in need of being humbled, I go play a round of golf. Yeah, there's that. It's the most humbling sport ever. You can go out and on one hole, you can hit a great shot, then a miserable shot, then a great shot, and then a miserable shot. It's kind of the way it works. Tiger Woods on the green now. It looks like he's going for birdie here on the 16th. He's got about, I'd say 75 feet for this putt. As I do my impersonation of someone doing the play-by-play with that there. As Tiger Woods sets up, looks like the putt's going to go left to right, and it's downhill. And let's see here. And he hits it from about 75 feet out, and that moves him to 1 under par through 16 holes. All right, quick break. When we come back, I've got opening day stuff for you for the Atlanta Braves and how they're going to beat the holy hell out of Big Barney Ross's Reds. We'll talk about that when we come back. This is The Rundown. You're listening to Fox Sports Radio 1400. That guy, Elijah, is like the Vanderbilt Whistler. Someone needs to find him and pop him in the throat. Dakota, as far as sports gambling goes, I am one of those folks where I'm like, you know what? I believe in, the land of the free, the home of the brave. I know that sounds silly. I should be able to do whatever in the world I want to do. I should be able to, but I can't. And people that are, I think the biggest problem with our government in general is that the people that represent us can't exactly relate to the people that they're representing. I know that's not what I mean by that is that, and I'm not talking about Democrats, Republicans, or whatever. I think the biggest thing is the age gap. Yes, the age gap. The people that actually run the country are the people that are from 30 to 50. Let's just say that, a round number. But yet, the people that are making decisions on what laws we have, etc., are all in their 60s and 70s. And they're thinking back to the days when I remember when I walked uphill both ways on the snow to school, or I remember this, things like that. And they can't really relate to anybody else. But the people that are 30 to 50 that actually vote keep sending grandma and grandpa up there to run the country, thinking that we have old wise men. That's what they're going to do, and they're old and they're wise, and they'll take care of us. And in reality, they're only there for their basic self-interest and to keep things back to the way the good old days were. It's just silly. Anyway, very good point. My blood pressure goes up every time you say the Vandy Whistler. I can't stand him. Can't stand him. Drunk John Daly was better than drunk Harry Carey. What a mess. No, we can't do the phone gambling here because our governor. Well, you can like bet offshore on like Aptivada and stuff like that, or not Aptivada, whatever it is, an offshore gambling spot. Bovada, that's the name of it. But in reality, you can't gamble because our governor thinks that we're too stupid to have the right to do that. So there's that. And you got to give it to ESPN, man. They are definitely doing the whole talkback thing there. And, you know, the whole Tiger following thing there. Give them that. Eight zero 978-1832. We talked about potential upsets in the 2022 season. One of them being South Carolina over Clemson. Be sure to you can call in and weigh in on that if you want. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. If you'd like to join us here on the rundown this afternoon. All right, some notes on your team, your World Series champion. The Atlanta Braves will be matching up tonight at 8:05 for an ESPN2 audience. And the starting lineup for your Braves tonight, Eddie Rosario will be in right field because Ronald Acuna Jr. is on the injured list, still dealing with some of the stuff that he had with that injury that sidelined him the last part of the season. And then you got Ozzie Albies playing second. Matt Olson, the new Brave, filling in for Freddie Freeman, will be batting third, followed by Austin Riley, Marcelo Zuna, Adam Duvall, Alex Dickerson's your DH. Dansby Swanson is your shortstop. So there you go with that. That's how the Braves lineup will shape up tonight. Max Fried making his second career opening day start. His first since tossing 6 scoreless innings in the decisive 6th game of last year's World Series. Yeah. No hope for... I think they're giving the rings to the Braves tonight. They're hanging the banner tonight. Reds don't have a chance. Reds don't have a chance. Elijah says, do you think UGA will drop a game in the regular season? And if they do, what game could they potentially drop? No, I don't think that Georgia's going to drop a game. When I look at the Georgia schedule, here, and I'm going to pull it up right now. Georgia this season, I think that the toughest game on their schedule is that they do have the non-conference matchup, the first game of the season. Maybe they could get bit by Oregon. I'm not saying that they will, but if you're looking for a game they could potentially lose, I mean, that might be because it's early. They're still trying to figure things out. But if you look at their season here, they start with Oregon, then they play Samford, they come to South Carolina, followed by Kent State. They go to Mizzou, home for Auburn, home for Vanderbilt. Of course, they play Florida in Jacksonville. They are at home with Tennessee. They go to Mississippi State. They play at Kentucky, and then they've got Georgia Tech at home. I mean, if we're being honest here and we're not trying to poke at the Georgia Bulldog fans here, do you see any other game on that schedule that looks like they may have the capability to lose that game other than maybe Oregon? Now, please don't come at me later on, Georgia fans, and say, you know what, Rob? You said we were going to lose to Oregon. No, I said that your schedule, the way it's set up with the fact that your toughest home game is what? Tennessee at home? Auburn's at home, and they're completely rebuilding. I mean, you go to Mercedes-Benz Stadium to play Oregon. I mean, the schedule sets up right for the Bulldogs. Sets up right for them. Carolina Jackpot says Tennessee isn't beating any of those teams. Very good, sir. Very good. Eric says, it's funny how people think teams are invincible. It's college football. Anything can happen. No team is unbeatable. Look, we're doing our early version of talking season here there, Eric. You could, as a Tennessee fan, you could say, you know what? We're going to win 10 games this year. Why not? You don't know what's going to happen. You didn't know who Hendon Hooker was last season going into the Pitt game. don't really have a clue. 803-978-1832. Tony says, unless a loaded dog turns it over 5 times, they run the table. I'm just saying the only game on that schedule that looks like it might be tough is the first game of the season when they play Oregon. It's not at home. It's a neutral site game. Could be the one that gets them. Alan says, I wonder if UGA doesn't cover a game this year. I don't know. Vegas will get some of those right. They'll eventually get them somewhere. 803-978-1832. Big Barney Ross says, will Andrew Jones' cheating wife be at tonight's Braves game? Glenn Hubbard is a drunk. He's just throwing things now. Big Barney Ross he probably thinks that Pete Rose is playing tonight. He probably has no clue who's on the Reds roster. Just here, let me help you. I think they're hanging the banner tonight. They're doing the Braves walk through the streets for the first game of the season. 8:00 tonight. Your team, the Atlanta Braves, America's team, no chance. No chance for the Reds tonight. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Elijah says, I really don't either. Georgia's just reloading. I think teams like Tennessee and South Carolina are still a year or two out from competing closely with a Georgia or Bama. The crazy thing is that you mentioned they're a year out. I mean, you've got to make up those years. You need basically 2 years in recruiting. All right, let's go to the phones. Welcome into the Rundown. Good afternoon.
I'm going to tell you right now, Georgia going to disappoint y'all. Georgia are going to disappoint y'all.
Sure.
You watch what I say.
Well, I mean, you were 1-14 with them last year. So.
Huh?
You were 1-14 with them last year. So, I mean, we got you.
That was last year.
Oh, okay.
I'm not worried about it. I don't look in the past. I look in the future, buddy.
Okay. Well,
okay.
What happens if you go 1-14 this year?
It ain't going to happen.
I'm talking about this year, man.
It ain't going to happen.
Okay.
Georgia is going to disappoint y'all.
Well, they're not going to disappoint me because I look at their schedule and it looks like it's an easy route, in my opinion. There's not a team that can compete with them.
Look, computer season. Keep on thinking that. We'll see. The game still got to be played, okay?
I agree with you on that.
And South Carolina is not going to be what y'all think they're going to be.
I think they're going to win 7 games. You don't think they're winning 7 games?
I doubt it.
All right, you think they're winning 8 games?
They're the same old Gamecocks going to let you down at the end. Same old Gamecocks. I hope they ate all the mayonnaise they could last year, but they ain't going to do nothing this year.
Well, we shall see with the Gamecocks. Appreciate you calling.
No doubt.
Thanks a lot, man.
No doubt.
All right. You got to give Hollywood credit. He went 1-14 against Georgia last year. Still calling saying Georgia's not going to be worth anything this year. That's hardcore right there. You got to appreciate that. He keeps calling back. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 is the number to dial. Actually, we're about out of time today. My buddy Lawton Swan from Clemson Sports Talk. He is the czar of Clemson sports. Carolina Jackpot says 40-13, no doubt. Very good, sir. Very good. Anyway, Clemson Sports Talk is next. Be sure to check out Lawton Swan. We'll have updates from the Masters throughout the day, too. All right, quickly. Let's go, caller. All right, caller, make it quick.
Rob, sir, how are you?
Good, man. You got about 40 seconds. Go.
Well, I wanted to know, who was it that you said picked Miami to lose to Virginia?
That would be 247. That was 247 Sports. They put out their potential biggest upsets of the season. They've got Virginia winning over Miami as one of their upsets.
Okay, well, they win the Dunce Cap Award for the day because Clemson getting rid of Tony Elliott and sending him off to Virginia, his addition by subtraction. And let's be honest, nobody has a freaking clue what this guy's going to look like as a head coach. And it's not going to look anything good year one. I think they're going to lose somebody they shouldn't, but it's not going to be UVA.
We shall see, man. Hey, I appreciate you calling the program. We'll talk with you guys later on.
Yes, sir.
All right, there you go. Someone not liking that potential upset. I didn't write that. 247 Sports did. It's going on the bookcase of accountability to my right next to the trash can with all of Beg and Megan's takes, right there on the bottom. More of the rundown tomorrow here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. All right. You guys are awesome over there, Big Buddy. You guys are funny. All right. I appreciate y'all, man. You guys are awesome in the chat room. If you guys need anything, let me know. Twitter, Rob Sounds Good. We'll see you tomorrow.